innocent. But when he sleeps, the innocent die.
I've been having dreams, killing dreams.
It was Angel's custom to carve a cross into their left cheek.
Our suspect will be a white male.
I stalk them, toy with them.
These might be more than just dreams.
There's only one way to be sure.
I get to make the coffee and chain the boss to the bed.
The most dangerous enemy is the one that sleeps within. An all-new Angel.
Hello, mein friend, and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
What's that? I'm your other host, James. What's that? So instead of learning how to say hello, my friend, in German, did you just decide you were going to say it with a bad German accent?
Yes. I couldn't.
You know what?
I couldn't figure out how to say it without without trying the accent, and I can't. And obviously I can't do it. So, that's.
You know what, though? That's the kind of effort we like to see here at Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited.
Yeah. Sorry.
Are you,
sorry, German friends. I tried.
Are you drinking a tall glass of your own piss?
Can you tell? You could tell.
Yeah.
It's the latest in health.
Health, yeah.
It's the newest trend. You piss into a gallon jug until it's full. You chill it. You don't necessarily put it in the refrigerator, but you chill it.
Okay.
And then you pour a tall boy and you drink it.
Okay. How does one chill it if not in the refrigerator?
You kind of like you chill a bottle of champagne.
Okay.
You put it into a bucket with some ice, but not too long.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. And then it's just full of things that will kill you.
It's full of things that you already ingested once into your body.
And your body expelled as not needed.
I love this conversation for us right now.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a Mott's apple juice.
Dude, that is so funny that you're drinking that right now, because I went to the grocery store the other day, and my grocery store of choice for the bulk of my shopping is my local Aldi. Shout out to Aldi.
I got one literally directly across the street from me.
And I was walking around picking up some stuff, and I strolled down the juice aisle, and I was like, you know what? I want some fucking apple juice. So I bought myself a couple of gallons of apple juice. So it's just kind of ironic that you're drinking that right now.
Now, do you drink the apple juice? Like, I will only buy the apple juice that is no sugar added.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what type of human being needs sugar added to their apple juice, but that's the kind of people I don't need to know.
That is a good question, because apple juice just on its own is delicious.
Yeah, and it does not need extra sugar. It's got so much natural sugar in it. It almost seems it should be illegal to add sugar to apple juice.
Well, we've had this conversation before, and we disagree on this, but that's how I feel about orange juice with pulp in it. I feel like once we figured out how to have pulp-free orange juice, just the stuff with pulp in it should have been outlawed.
Yeah, we disagree there, because to me, I don't know why, but to me, orange juice isn't orange juice without pulp. And I mean, when I pour a glass of apple juice, I want like a 2-inch cap of fucking pulp in there.
Oh, so you're the person that's buying. I always wonder when I go to the grocery store if I pick up orange juice. I don't get orange juice very often.
Yeah, I don't
like apple. Like, I actually don't get a juice very often at all of any kind. I drink I'm a water drinker. I'm a big water drinker, and I have this shout out to Circle water bottle. They're phenomenal. If you find yourself struggling to drink water because just plain water is boring, I highly recommend setting yourself up with a Circle, because it has dramatically increased my water intake. But anyway,
what does it do to make the water less? What's the word I'm looking for?
so
Pointless.
it's got this filter cartridge in it,
Okay.
and the filter cartridge is filled with flavoring.
Okay.
No sugar added flavors. There's all kinds of flavors: fruit punch, mixed berry, apple. There's various tea flavors,
But now,
lemonade.
what does that taste like? Just for instance, let's say, do they have a lemon to make it kind of lemonade-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that taste like with no little hint of sweetener?
I actually just bought a lemonade yesterday, and that's what's in here, and it tastes like lemonade. I don't know, like, because I was worried it would just taste like water with lemon in it, but which is fine. Like, I don't mind just water with a little bit of lemon in it,
Yeah.
but it tastes like lemonade.
And there's absolutely no sweetener whatsoever in those cartridges.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
it's wizardry.
It is wizardry. I've only tried two so far that I didn't care for. One was pineapple, which was really disappointing because I love pineapple.
See, I really don't.
And the other one, ironically, again, was apple. Like, it didn't taste very good. But I've tried fruit punch, tropical punch, mixed berry, black cherry, white cherry, lemonade, strawberry lemonade, raspberry tea. What else have I tried? Pineapple coconut.
Have you tried? Now, I've heard that they have one that's jism flavored. Have you tried jism?
I prefer the real stuff when it comes to that.
Oh, okay. You don't like, you want the real deal.
Yeah, I don't like the artificial stuff.
Okay.
The artificial stuff. I'm trying to think of some of the other flavors I've tried. But yeah, I've tried all those flavors, and so far the only two I haven't cared for were pineapple, just plain pineapple, and apple. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, the other flavors have been really good. And
how long does one of those little cartridges last? Like, how many bottles of water are you going to get out of that? How many refills?
I would have to look. I forget how many it's supposed to get, but one of these cartridges will usually last me about a week, maybe. And I refill this a few times a day. So.
And then wow, that's very loud. What is the pricing like on those cartridges?
They are just under $4 a cartridge.
Okay, that's not bad.
And you can get them at Walmart. Have started carrying them. Obviously, the
Evil Empire.
And but you can also order the cartridges online. The online selection is obviously larger than what you'll find in store at Walmart right now, but
everything you find online is larger, if you know what I'm saying.
But yeah, I highly recommend if you're looking for a way to increase your water intake.
I actually am looking for a way to increase my water intake because I've never, my entire life, I have never been a good a good lad when it comes to drinking my water, because it's so fucking boring and boring, you know. And I tried for the longest time. I would buy those Crystal Light packets that you dump into a bottle of water and shake up and drink, and I did that for a while, but then and it was made with like Splenda, But
Mm.
even that, it would just get too much after a while, too sweet, too something. I don't know. And I got out of that. And I'm not good. I don't drink the amount of water that I should.
Right. Well, what's nice about this too is it's got an adjustable dial
Mhm.
on the filter here, so you can start it. You can go all the way to 0, so that you're just drinking plain water, and it goes all the way up to 9, depending on how intense you want the flavor. I have never taken a flavor initially to start past 3,
Mhm.
because if you go beyond that, it's like really too intense.
Yeah.
Like, but it's nice because as the cartridge starts to run low, you can jack up the amount. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Kind of like when
So
you're running low on heroin, you can just do a little bit more.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, right,
So you still
right,
get the same
exactly,
time. Yeah. Sorry,
exactly,
it's
exactly.
my old drug days coming out
Yeah,
there.
no, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I would look into that. Next time you're at your local Walmart,
And what does the initial bottle cost? Around $700 to $800.
no, the starter kit was like 20 some odd dollars. It's not bad at all. It's
Okay.
not bad at all.
All right.
So yeah, I would definitely, if like you said, if you're looking to increase your water intake and you just have trouble drinking water because it's boring, I would definitely look into that.
So
Because I've got this.
if I end up not liking it, you'll refund me personally.
No, no,
Okay.
no.
All right.
I will say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't find it as enjoyable as I do.
Okay.
But that's all I'm going to offer you is my
Okay.
apologies. So,
All right.
but I think we've talked about this before. I also use like the Crystal Light packets and various other water flavor packets. And I use those in carbonated water that I've carbonated in my Soda Stream
Right.
to make various less sugary sodas, because I have a mild addiction to fizzy drinks,
Oh yeah, me too.
and I discovered that it's not actually like the sugar or
No.
the drink itself. It's actually just the carbonation.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I will tell you, one of my favorite things to carbonate is is Fruit Juicy Red High C.
Okay.
The flavor packet. I'll carbonate some water and then put the flavor packet in there, and it's like a Fruit Juicy Red uh, high C, or not high C, um, Hawaiian Punch.
Ah.
The Fruit Juicy
Now,
Red Hawaiian Punch.
have you tried carbonating any jism?
I have not. I have not yet. No, no. Um, but maybe we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. We'll give it a
We'll see what
shot.
happens. Give it a shot.
So
Um,
after all this chatting, I did fail to say today's episode will be season 1, episode 11 of Angel, entitled Somnambulist. Which, would you like to, I'm sure you know, would you like to inform our audience what the fuck somnambulist means?
I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe it's the actual term for someone who sleepwalks.
Yeah, exactly. It's the,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's the Christian term for sleepwalking.
Right. Yes. So,
All right.
are we?
James,
how are you doing? How are you doing?
I know it's been a hot ass minute since
It has
we have
been.
seen each other, and
Like 15 of them.
yeah, really almost 30.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. I don't.
No, not at all. No.
I don't think it was that long, but because we said
yeah,
we said 15, and I think we might have both come back early. So
yeah, I know. I did because I'm a professional, and
wow.
I don't fuck around. And when no, I'm fine. I'm great. I'm fabulous.
Says the man who just asked me if I've ever tried carbonating jizz.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair question, is it not?
No, it is. It is.
I mean,
It
you
is.
know. So yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. How are you? And how is your water bottle?
I'm good, and it's good.
Okay. All right.
It's delicious. It's delicious.
All right. Well, enough of this bullshit. Why don't? No. I'm going to go ahead and mention it now. I'll go through it again at the end of the episode, but this is our last episode. Not forever. This is our last episode before our 2-week mid-season hiatus. So this episode that you're listening to right now has dropped on the 29th of January. There will be no episode February 5th or February 12th. And then we will return February the 19th with Buffy season 4, episode 12, A New Man. Yeah, I just wanted everyone to know that.
Do we know what else is happening on February 19th by any chance?
It's February 19th, also the day that you're going to try carbonating some jism?
It is not.
It's not?
It's not. It's not. It is not. February 19th is the day I celebrate the anniversary of escaping my birthing matrix.
Is it now?
It is.
How have I
Yes.
forgotten that?
You probably actually didn't know, to be fair.
Well, how would I not know though? This would be our what? This would be our third. I've known you for 73 and a half years.
Right. We've known each other for 35 years.
Yeah. And so 11 years. How would I not know? How would I not? Because I'm sure we made a big deal of it last year, didn't we?
I honestly don't recall.
See, I really don't either because I'm very, very old. And
yeah, I would say it's probably just you clearly. I'm very concerned by the fact that you don't remember my birthday. it's clearly really bothering me.
And how old will you be?
I will be 43.
Holy fuck, you old piece of shit. I need to find someone younger to do this podcast with.
Do you? I'm young at heart.
Oh, okay. Well, in this great year of 24, I will be turning 46.
Wow, you are ancient.
I am.
Have you
seen a petrified turd?
I have. I co-host a podcast with one. Anyway.
Hey-o! Dick. What a dick.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, my birthday is probably, in all the time we've known each other, probably hasn't come up more than maybe once or twice. It's not really something
30 times, yeah.
30 times. It's, so.
Yeah,
it's on Facebook.
I give fucks about my own birthday, so I you get to a certain age where you're like, yeah, I don't care.
It's on Facebook, and I know you're on Facebook all the time, so you should know from there. But whatever, it's fun.
I am there at least 16 hours a day.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like I can't stand to not know what people have for dinner, what shape their dog's poop came out in, everything. And I love the people who share every single detail of their lives and their children's lives on Facebook. I find that to be gripping news, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Get it. Speaking of dinner, would you like some dates and deets?
You know, okay, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I guess. I mean, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Sure, whatever. I mean, fine.
It's whatever,
Like,
you know.
As like we said before, we're going to be revisiting Angels season 1, episode 11. Like, it's like the 11th episode of the series overall, or something like that. I guess.
Let's do the whole rest of the podcast as Zoomers.
Yeah, just like this. Yeah.
I'll just be like this the whole time. Sorry.
Yeah, and like the episode title is Somnambulist or something, I guess. I don't know.
Not even close. Not even. You want to try that again?
What?
You want to try to pronounce that word again?
No, I did it that way on purpose.
Okay. Not even close. Not even close.
Our episode director is Winrich Colby, and our episode credited writer is
Winrich Colby.
Winrich Colby.
What the fuck? Where's this fucker from? Sorry, that's just a crazy name.
I don't know. Our episode credited writer this week is Tim Miner. Do you know how to say it?
I would say Miner.
Yeah.
How's it spelled?
Minear. So maybe Minear.
Minear or Minier?
Mjolnir?
Do you think he's worthy?
No. Not after this episode. Our air date was January 18th, 2000 on the now defunct WB network. Our Nielsen rating for this episode was 3.6 million households when it first aired, ranking it 96th out of the 143 network primetime shows for the week, and 3rd out of the 15 primetime shows airing on the WB for the week. Our regular cast, as always, includes David Boreanaz as Angel, Charisma Carpenter as Cordelia, and making his first appearance in the opening credits as a regular cast member, Alexis Denisoff as Wesley, who, of course, joined the cast.
I believe it's Alexi.
Whatever.
I don't even think that's...
No, he's credited as Alexis.
Yeah. No, I know. I was never mind.
Oh.
Never mind.
Where was I? Because he had joined the cast last week, replacing the dearly departed Glenn Quinn as Doyle.
Glenn Quinn.
Our guest stars this week include, very exciting, the return of Elizabeth Rom as Detective Kate Lockley. We love Detective Kate.
Was I happy to see her?
We love Detective Kate. And a young Jeremy Renner eating up the scenery.
Gobbling.
Just chewing it up.
He was really assaulting it, honestly.
He was gobbling it like Larry, Tom, and Gerald gobble each other's dicks. Jeremy Renner is Penn.
You know, I completely forgot that he was in that. I completely forgot him being in this show.
Me too.
Jeremy fucking Renner, dude. He's like
right.
He's like Jeremy fucking Renner.
Right. And here's the thing, I love seeing. So we're going to veer off real quick just to talk about this. I love seeing actors who are I don't want to say Jeremy Renner's revered as an actor now, but he's got a pretty good track record. Okay. Hawkeye, obviously in the Marvel movies. He's been in a lot of decent things. Like, he's not a bad actor. But I love seeing actors like that in early things like this because, dude, I 100% firmly believe a lot of it was direction. But he is awful in this episode.
Yes, I was like, where is he going with this? Because we must have watched 2 different episodes.
He is awful in this episode, and I don't think it's him. I don't think it's necessarily him.
I think it's a little 50-50.
I really think it's directing because, like, he's anything else I've seen him in, he is not awful. Like, I mean, so.
I'll just
say
in the Marvel movies, I found him to be very cardboardy.
Well, yeah, but it's Hawkeye, like to an extent. Did you watch? You probably didn't watch the Disney Plus Hawkeye series, did you?
No, I looked at it and I thought, I don't give a fuck about this character ever. I didn't care about it when I read the comics, and I don't care about it on screen.
You should. I mean, honestly, you should give it a shot. It's really good, and he's really good in it.
I'll consider. Okay, I'm done considering. No.
But as a character, he's not given a lot to do, like, in the Marvel movies. Like, there's such a large, like, ensemble in those movies. It's hard to, and especially when you're not, like, one of the main draws of that either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it was always a bad. We're getting off in the weeds here, but let me just say this. I always found it to be a bad idea in the comics and therefore in the movie. Why do you throw Hawkeye in with the fucking Avengers? Like, you have all these super powered badasses, and then you have a fucking deer hunter.
Well, like, I mean, who has as much as I hate to say it, like, why would you throw Batman onto the Justice League?
Because Batman can literally kill anyone in the DC universe. It's been shown. He has, like, a contingency plan for.
No, I know, but.
Like, Batman,
but I mean,
is Hawkeye versus Batman. Like, that's going to take Bruce Wayne all of fucking 5 minutes. Like, he's going to mop the floor with fucking Hawkeye's face.
Okay, well, let's make it more comparable. Why would you put Green Arrow on the Justice League?
Again, it's to me, when they anytime they try to mix in, average Joe in with the super power groups, I'm like, what? Because one super powered, battle, that fucker's getting killed. I don't give a fuck. In real life, that fucker is dying in, like, the first 30 seconds of the fight.
Isn't it funny again? Like, we talked about this in last week's episode of Buffy. Like, isn't it funny how, like, the line is drawn though at Batman?
Yes.
like we're literally like, why would you put just a regular guy on a team with fucking guys with superpowers and gods and this and that and everything, and then it's like, well, except Batman, because he's fucking Batman.
Well, and there's another reason you put Batman in the Justice League.
Because he wears gloves.
Who else is paying the fucking mortgage? You feel me?
That's true.
Come on.
That's true.
Superman ain't got no fucking bank. Let's be honest. Right, he's a fucking reporter for the Daily Planet. He's making like $25,000 a year. I'm just saying.
Right.
Somebody gets to pay them bills, and Brucey can do so.
But yeah, it's just funny how Batman is always the exception. Like, Batman is literally always the exception.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went way off track. Nothing that we usually don't do. Our episode synopsis this week reads: when Wesley recognizes the hallmark of Angelus's 18th century killing spree Angel wonders if he's slaughtering people in his sleep.
Well, mine
Dun,
reads,
dun.
mine reads, Angel attempts to assist Kate with a murder investigation after discovering that a protege from his past is responsible for a series of killings and public masturbation.
Wow.
By the way, I just wanted to bring up really quick. I was reading an article about
Public masturbation.
yes, about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, about
Mhm.
Jeremy Renner, and if
Mhm.
it's to be believed, he is a huge piece of shit. Like
That's what.
at a level that's almost mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And I gotta
There
be honest,
hasn't.
I kind of, as I'm reading the article, I kind of was like, you know what? I don't doubt this. This seems very
It's
legit.
it's one of those things where I could see it, but at the same time, there hasn't been anything like, there hasn't been anything solid come out about it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see that, but at the same time, like, until I've got some hard evidence on it, I don't know. I just don't know.
I'm just thinking probably the snowplow should have went ahead and finished him off. I'm just gonna say.
Wow. Anyway, we open with a girl, and she's running away. She's running, and she runs right into the vampire that was chasing her. And he proceeds to drain her. And it is then revealed that the vampire is Angel. At which point, Angel wakes up in his bed, and he wakes up in his bed from this dream that he was apparently having, very startled by it. And we cut to Detective Kate, and
Which, by the way, why when he woke up, like, you know, when he was all startled and he woke up and everything, why was he fully erect?
I mean, I'm sure there's still, listen, he's got a soul, but that demon is still in there. So I'm sure there's a part of him that still gets turned on by the thrill of the kill.
Okay. Because I mean, he was full mast.
Oh yeah, you could have put 3 sleeping bags and some small children under the tent that was pitched in that bed.
Wow. Okay. Why did we have to go with children? That's all wow.
I don't.
Okay, let's just move right along. Thank you.
And then we cut to Kate coming to a crime scene, and we see that the girl we saw Angel murderizing in his dream is actually dead in real life and has had a cross carved into her cheek. And that is our cold open.
Was it a cross? I thought it was. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it was an upside down cross.
I thought it was a penis. I thought it was a dick and balls.
It
And I
was
was
not.
I was like, that's a really dick move for a serial killer. Like, he stalks you, he chases you, then he murders you, and he fucking draws a dick and balls on your cheek. I mean, what an asshole.
Yeah, that's pretty. Even for a murderer, that's pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't even wake up and like wash that off. You have to have that dick and balls carved into your cheek now for all.
You are showing up to the pearly gates potentially with a cock and balls carved into your face.
Right, and it's like, wow, like the stalking me and murdering me thing wasn't enough. You had to brand me for all times with a dick and balls.
Right.
What an asshole. So the next morning, we're at Angel Investigations, and Cordy's practicing hard selling a client who's not there, but she's practicing. And Wesley arrives, and he's clearly has nothing to fucking do. He wants to, compare notes. And long story short, there's nothing fucking going on, so there's nothing to compare notes about. So he's like, oh, but I did bring your paper and your mail with me. And he hands it to Cordy, and she's like, oh, this isn't ours. This is the dentist office next door. And he's like, oh, my bad. Well, then he spots something on the front page of the paper and has a little bit of a freak out and he just fucks right off quickly.
He does. He fucks right out of there.
Just as Angel is coming up in the elevator from his subterranean pimp pad. And boy, he is not in good mood because he flings that fucking door open. And he immediately looks at Cordelia and he's like, hey, fuck you. And she's like, wow. No, but he's clearly in a shit mood.
Yeah, he's feeling some type of way.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, you know, the license plate for that runaway case, and he's like, yeah, I remember you were supposed to handle that. And she's like, wow, dick, I was about to tell you that I tried and the BMVs told me to fuck off because that's what a BMV would normally tell a normal person trying to run a license plate. And he's like, well, I'll handle it. And and I'm like, she's like, well, maybe you can get that fucking, that cop hooer to do it for us. And he's like, cop hooer it is. And, so we cut to the precinct and, Kate is, there and she's kind of busy. And I love this line because I'm like, thank you, finally. And she's like, you know, he asks for her to do this, and she's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to do that. That's against so many rules. And and she's like, but I will go ahead and violate a citizen's right to privacy for you. And I was like, thank you. Also,
like, since you made it quite clear just what a pissy mood Angel was in back at Angel Investigations, can we talk about how he's like peaches and fucking cream to Detective Kate right now? And granted, like, he needs a fucking favor from her, so he's not gonna be like extremely rude to her, but like, compared to the way he was just treating Cordelia, like, yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Well, he wants to get with Kate, obviously. And I'm like, really? You would take Kate over Cordelia? The fuck, bro. I'm just saying. So he actually spots somebody brings her some pictures from the crime scene, which she just casually starts looking at in front of this fucking civilian, being Angel. And he's looking at them and he sees the hallmarks of this whole deal. And, you know, she says the tabloids are calling the killer the Pope, and I must be, you know, thinks he's doing God's work. And Angel's like, no, this isn't that. He's mocking God. And I'm like, well, I guess somebody is a believer, as a writer of this show. I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing religion? And anyway, so Angel goes ahead and fucks right off. Or Kate's giving he leaves, and then we cut to like Kate in this room with a bunch of other detectives, and she's all of a sudden, I don't know where this came from, but all of a sudden Kate is a high-end FBI criminal fucking profiler, because she's giving them the rundown on who this guy is. And, you know, like, all of a sudden she's fucking Clarice Starling. Like, she's made a complete profile of this guy. But I'm thinking, she's just like she's a detective at like an offshoot precinct of the LAPD. But all of a sudden she's making criminal profiles now of serial killers. I'm like, first of all, let's just be honest here. The FBI would have already probably come in and taken over this case. Because how many victims has she said that there's been confirmed? Is it 3?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the FBI would have already taken over by now. But anyway, she's telling all the other officers who have years and years and years of experience over her, who this guy is and who they need to be on the lookout for, and they're all rolling their eyes, and no, they're not, but I was. She's all like, yeah, this guy's a loner.
It's funny to me. Like, this is one of the episodes where it's really apparent. Like, I think you and I are both going to have similar scores at the end of this to the episode, but I feel like it's going to be for completely different reasons, because literally nothing that you've had an issue with so far did I have an issue with.
Oh, God. I'm not done with my issues, let me tell you. My next issue is, why did we spend... Okay, how do I... Well, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Why did we have this scene? Because, and here's why I ask. This spiel that she's giving her comrades here, is 100% wrong. Everything she says. She spent all this. Later on, she tells Angel how much time she spent in this guy's head, and boy, is it a dark, depressing place, and she's all fucked up because of it. Her entire criminal profile is wrong. The whole thing is wrong. She's like, this guy was in a relationship and it ended, and for a long time while he was in this relationship, he wasn't killing, but then the relationship ended bad, so now he's back to doing it again, and he likely doesn't even remember when he does the killings, and blah, blah, blah. Like, everything she says is 1000% incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know.
Well, I think the reason I didn't take issue with that is because, like, the one thing that Kate can't take into account with this profile, whether she did it herself or where it came from, is the fact that this dude's a vampire.
No, she says she did it because later on she tells Angel, I spent all this time in this guy's head to make his criminal profile, and it's a dark place, and it's really got me fucked up, and so yeah, okay. She's the one that did this profile, and I'm like,
so she's the one that did it, but even at that, like, there's no way she could have taken into account the fact that this guy's a vampire, because she doesn't know that those things exist, and she certainly doesn't know that this guy is one of them. So presumably her profile, much like any profile, even FBI profiling, is based off of other similar serial killers.
Right. Okay. No, that's all fine and good. My question is, why do we have this scene? Like, what's the point of this scene? It seems completely pointless to me because it doesn't go anywhere, and it doesn't give us as viewers like any insight into it, like who this guy is. It doesn't give us as viewers like any insight into her. Like, wow, she's really like, damn, she's a good detective. She spent all this time in this guy's head, and she's got this fucker nailed. The only thing she doesn't know is that he's a fucking immortal vampire. You know what I mean? It's like it's right. It services nothing. It services nothing. There's no point.
Well, so I took it as more so like, what's the best way to explain it? Like, I kind of took it as the point of that scene was that there's no way Kate could accurately profile this guy because he's not what she would typically be dealing with. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, but again, I say if that's the case, we all already know that as viewers. We all already know that she's in over her head, and that this guy, this is a vampire we're dealing with.
So yes and no. At this point in the episode, we don't actually know yet that we're dealing with a vampire.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm just saying it just seems like a completely pointless scene to me. That like if this scene's not in it, it almost does the opposite of I think of what they intended it to do. It almost makes her look inept and bad at her job. You know. Anyway, I digress. We cut back to Angel Investigations, and fucking Wesley comes sneaking in, and he's like, "Where's Angel?" And she's like, "I don't know, out." And he's got a stake in his hand, and she's like, "You can't just come into a vampire's place of business with that's fucking rude, you know, with a stake." And he's like, "Listen, you know," and he shows her the article and everything, and he's like, "Listen, when I was in Sunnydale, I did some extensive research on Angel because of his close proximity to the fucking Slayer." And he's like, "You know, in the 1800s, this was his exact MO in his killings was, you know, the draining them, the upside down cross, blah, 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 blah." And Cordelia's all like, "You know, that's fucked up. You need to leave. You know, Angel's good now, and he's my friend, and I'm not just going to turn on a friend." And then from the corner, Angel's standing, and he says something like, I forget
I think he just says he's right.
Yeah, he goes, "He's right." And she looks right at Wesley and goes, "You stake him, I'll cut off his head." And so so she's immediately throwing her friend under the bus. But yeah, he starts telling him that he's like, "I'm, you know," fucking Wesley throws up a cross at him, and he's like, "Why should we believe you?" And then he like immediately houses Wes, and he's like, "Because I could off you in a millisecond if I wanted to." And Wesley's like, "Okay, fair enough." And so then Angel starts explaining to them, you know, "Listen, for the last couple of weeks, I've been having these dreams, and in these dreams, like I'm doing these killings." And he's like, "And I like it." He's like, I'm having nocturnal emissions every time I do one of these killings."
He's like, when I wake up from these dreams, I am so hard that you could fit 3 sleeping bags and 3 small children under the tent that I've pitched in the bed.
He's like, "Listen, after these dreams, I wake up and I am so hard, even a cat couldn't scratch it."
You could fit a small Boy Scout troop
God damn
inside
you,
the tent.
fucking James. Fuck off. So then,
Fine. You could fit a small Girl Scout troop under the. Oh, is that not better? Is that not? Oh,
I gotta. The
sorry.
bottom line is, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Oh.
Quitting the show.
Guess I'm on my own. Where were we? Angel Wesley was right. They decided. Oh, Jeremy's back. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, they decide.
Brownies.
God damn it! Shut the fuck up, you asshole! I'm gonna mute you. I swear to God, I'm gonna mute you. Oh yeah. So they decide that the only way to
Eagle Scouts. He'll be back, folks. He'll be back. It's okay. He's back. He's
Are
back.
you fucking done? God. Now, they decide that in order to, the best way to find out for sure if this is Angel doing this is to chain him up to his own bed and then fuck him repeatedly. So Cordelia goes and gets the largest strap-on she can find. No, they tie him up to his bed, chain him up to his bed and shit, and then this was weird. So I guess Wesley's going to stay there all night and, actually physically keep an eye on Angel. But Cordelia is just like, okay, bye. And she just leaves. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess she's not too concerned that her boss might be a sleepwalking murderer, but all right. So then she comes back the next morning and, or no, I'm sorry. I missed a part. Angel falls asleep and he's having a dream in the 1800s where he stalked a frightened woman and he's trying to get away, and he finally catches up and drains her and cuts that cross into her cheek. And then he wakes up startled, and as Cordelia is coming in, she's like, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. And she happily explains, yes, there was another murder last night, so now we know it wasn't you. And because she's got the paper with her. And I'm like, okay, well, they begin to unchain him, and he's like, it was me. And then they're like, okay, rechain him. And but anyway, then we cut into the office there, and Angel is explaining that he sired another vampire named Penn, and he taught him to kill this way, the same way that these people are being killed now. And he's like, I've always had a connection to the ones you always have a connection to the ones you've sired, and which kind of explains why he's having these weird dreams and shit, because Penn's there in town. And then he realizes that Kate is in over her head, and if she finds him, it's not going to be good. And but then he also thinks, well, we can use Kate and her resources to track Penn down. So, oh boy. Then we cut to the precinct, and Angel's there, and she's like, yo, on hell. And he's like, what up, Kate? And he's like, can we talk somewhere private? And so they go into this, I'm not even sure it kind of looks like an interrogation room, but they've got all the like crime scene photos and shit up on this wall of this current killer, and it's weird. And he's like, do you trust me? And she's like, yeah. And he puts up this drawing on the board that apparently he drew of Penn, and he's like, this is the man you're looking for. And he's like, his next victim is going to be a white male adolescent, probably in a low rent neighborhood, probably by a liquor store. And if you trust me, use all your resources of this place and stop it from happening. And she's like, what? How do you know all this? He's like, I'm Angel. And she's like, okay. So then Angel goes back out into the parking garage and gets in the car where Wesley's waiting, and he's like, all right, here, we'll listen for him here. And he's got a police radio, and he's like, where'd you get that? And Angel's like, from a police car. And Angel's like, oh dear. And this way they can listen in. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I did, because how I notice little insignificant stupid shit like this. But so he puts that picture up on the wall, tacks it up there for her, and they show it. And I guess it's an okay drawing. I mean, if someone gave me that drawing and said, this is the person you're looking for, I'd be like, that just looks like a person. Like, there's no detail at all. Like, that just looks like the drawing of a person that doesn't exist. Anyway, in the next scene that we're about to come up on, Kate is talking to the other cops and telling them, this is the person we're looking for. And she shows them the picture, that it is a completely different picture than the one Angel put. It's 100%. Like, it's very similar. It is very similar, but it's almost like the one they put up that he put pins up on the wall, like somehow gets lost before they shoot this next scene, because the one she has now is completely, the one she has in this next scene and that you see again later on in the episode is a completely different picture. So I don't know, I just found that I found that funny. I chuckled. So Penn, we cut now to nighttime, and Penn is doing some stalking. And what's going on there, James?
He's on fire.
Okay, all right, okay.
Penn is on fire.
Okay.
Yeah. What's where? Hold on, sorry.
Well, if you were keeping track and not fucking around on your phone, you might know where the fuck we're at, dickhead.
There we go. We cut to a white male teen, and he's trying to get people to buy alcohol for him. And Penn ends up luring him away, offering to buy him the alcohol he wants, but he's like, yeah, I know a different store that's, cheaper, whatever. And the police arrive just as Penn starts to feed on this kid, and he runs into a nearby warehouse. And sorry. And Angel and Wesley show up, and they realize that Penn must still be in there. So Angel pulls the car up to I think it's a drainage pipe.
Yeah.
And he starts climbing up it, and we cut to Kate also getting into the warehouse and looking for Penn. And
which, by the way, quick, do you think that they're out there somewhere in the world is his mate Teller?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
His hetero life mate.
Yeah. So we're inside the warehouse now, and Penn approaches Kate, and she fires at him, and of course the bullets don't have any effect, and he ends up sending her flying across the room, and Angel makes a dramatic angel entrance down from the ceiling and basically pummels Penn. And at some point during the fight, Angel vamps out, and Penn ends up getting away, and Kate sees Angel's vamp face, and that's how she finds out that vampires are real. And Angel he tries to talk to Kate and give her the skinny, but she's, even despite what she's just seen, she's not willing to admit that vampires are a thing that exist.
So to remedy that, he shows her his O face.
Yes.
And she's like, that's really creepy. You should just stick to the vampire thing.
Yeah. And then we cut to Angel Investigations, and Penn shows up there, and he basically tricks information out of Cordelia about Detective Kate before Cordy realizes who he is. And Angel walks in, but there's a strategic beam of sunlight separating him from Penn. And Penn leaves, and we get a montage of everyone doing their own little research of their own kind to learn about what's going on. And Angel goes to Kate, and of course in the montage we saw her studying up about vampires, and she refuses to let him in, and she basically tells him he can go fuck himself.
And he's like, well, that's what I
And-
plan to do anyway, so fine.
Right. And
He's like,
but
I
this
stopped,
kind of
bought a penthouse and some lube, so I'm going to go home.
right. I'm before I go on, I'm going to stop there, and we've kind of talked about this before, and like, yeah, she's read up on vampires, and she read up on Angel in particular, you know,
Which I'm
whatnot.
like, where?
Yeah, that's a good question too. But what I'm getting at is this dude, and we talked about it on Buffy before too. This dude has like saved Kate's life on several occasions now.
Mhm.
He's clearly been like a good guy, and now all of a sudden she's like, fuck you for what you did 200 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, he's literally done nothing that she's witnessed to warrant this.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
It's bad writing. it's just, well, it's lazy writing is what it is.
Right.
You know?
And like I said, we talked about it on Buffy too. Like, you know, because for a while on Buffy, there was this whole thing of like, oh, he's a vampire. He's a vampire. Yeah, he's a vampire that continuously has either saved you guys or helped save the world or the day. Like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah. And it's, and I can't get over the whole, she says to him, yeah, and I've read about you too, the killer with the face of an angel. And I'm, where the fuck did you read this? What did you go on in the 2000 internet and type in
Watcherchronicles.net?
LA? Yeah, I mean, what the fuck, dude? It
Right.
I just, yeah, lazy fucking writing, dude. Lazy.
Because even like, so yeah, because at most she's gonna have access to like books on vampire lore,
Like Myth, the same type of shit we could go get right now from Half Price Books, you know?
right, and like what are the chances that like there's such a detailed account of like Angel's misdeeds as Angelus that she's going to be able to pin it all together?
The only
Like,
ones that have that information are the Watchers.
Right.
You know? It's like, fuck off. This is such lazy bullshit.
Right. So Angel and Wesley do some more research, and they end up finding Penn's lair, and they go there and they see there's a wall covered in pictures that give them the idea that he's going to kill children on a school bus next. And we cut to the police station, and Kate's doing another briefing of all the other officers. And who happens to be in that briefing, Jeremy?
This was just fucking weird, dude. Like, again, lazy fucking writing. Because then all of a sudden she's like, you know, and everybody's got this picture in their packet that I gave them. This is the guy we're looking for. And then you hear somebody say, well, that's not even close to me. The eyes are all wrong. And they're all like, oh, it's him. And then he just proceeds to beat up like all the cops in the precinct and grabs Kate and drags her to, I don't know where. Like he drags her out like down into the sewers, apparently, because then Angel and Wesley arrive and all hell's breaking loose. So he's like, well, all hell's breaking loose. I should go into the sewers for whatever reason. And he does. And we see that he gets to this area. Penn gets to this area with Kate, and he's all like, you know, well, let me show you what I'm going to do. And he vamps out and he goes up and she's like, I'm not scared to die. And he's like, well, I'm not going to kill you. And I'm like, you're not?
Like, why? Why aren't you?
Why aren't we killing her? Like, why did you do all of this and you're not going? And we never get an answer. Why? Like, we never get an answer. Like, I don't know. It's this whole goddamn episode, dude. It's just so fucking everywhere. I'm not gonna kill you, and she's like, you're not, and he's like, no, because I have a better plan, I think. And then she's like, okay, that's weird. And then Angel shows up, and he's like, you didn't really think that silly story was going to convince me about the children in the school bus and all that. And he's like, well, it might have. And I'm like, what kind of line, what kind of retort is, what the fuck is, what am I watching? This is like really, really bad fanfic, like really bad. Like, I've read fanfic that was pretty fucking good, and this shit is horrible. And then all of a sudden, of course, they get back into this big fight, and Kate's getting thrown around too, and they're fighting it out, and he does this run up the wall thing and jump behind Angel and get Angel in a chokehold move, and Angel or Kate at this point has this huge piece of jagged wood, and she's pointing it at him, and she's like, you won't do it, or I don't know. It was just so fucking, at this point I was zoning out, and you won't do what's necessary. And so what she does is she somehow impales the wood through Angel's body, and it goes upwards at an angle and somehow stakes Penn and dusts him. And then she pulls the wood out of Angel, and he falls over. Because, by the way, wounds no longer affect vampires. Whereas before they could get the simplest little scratch, and they had to have he had to be bandaged up and fucking dressed. And now he's been impaled with a giant piece of wood, no problem. Penn was shot like 4 times earlier, that was no problem. So we're changing all of that again. And yeah, so then he's just like, he says to her, well, you missed. And she's like, no, I didn't. And it's like, okay, what? Let me just get to the next scene, the final scene. Thank Christ. We cut to Angel, who's sitting on the balcony of that building that he lives in. And Cordy shows up, and she's like, yeah, I had another vision. Here's a piece of paper, new job, get to it, fuckface. And then they have this little, it's supposed to be like a existential chat. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but he's like, but I enjoyed it. And she's like, yeah, so fucking what? Some guys want to have their nuts fucking nailed to a step stool by a cruel German amputee, and they get off to it. So what? And that was kind of specific, wasn't it? And then he's like, yeah, but I enjoyed it. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Everybody's got fucked up shit in them. And she's like, the powers that be know the difference between you and Angelus. And then he's all like, hey, if the time ever comes. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll kill you. And he's like, okay, thanks. And credits. That was this episode.
Would you like to take a guess at our body count this episode?
I don't really care, but I'll say 6.
11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's up there. Our music this week, Lunatic Calm with Leave You Far Behind, and Christoph Beck and Robert J. Krall, as always, with our original score. Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Would you please tell me and our lovely Slade fans, how many overacting Jeremy Renards do you give this episode?
It's a 1.
Okay.
It's even less. I fucking hate when we have back-to-back shit episodes, and I hate the fact that this is our episode that we're leaving for our hiatus, our mid-season hiatus for. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna like lie or pretend like it was it just wasn't a good episode for all the reasons I've already brought up, while going through it, and the fact that Jeremy Renner for me he's never done it for me at all. So I just don't think he's that good of a fucking actor, to be perfectly honest. I really don't. So I don't really know if I would consider this overacting on his part. I just consider it shit acting. And it's just not a good episode. This from beginning to end, there is nothing but laziness in this, like just lazy writing. The only redeeming quality of this episode is, good performances by David Boreanaz as always. Charisma and fucking Alexis. And other than that, I'm kind of struggling to think of any redeeming qualities of this episode. It's just the title is fucking stupid. It's like they were just like, ooh, this is a long, difficult to pronounce word that means sleepwalker. Let's use that. Like, it's just, and it doesn't even mean anything. He's not actually sleepwalking. It's just dreams he's had. It's just fucking stupid. It's just dumb. It's a 1. It should have been flushed with yesterday's turd. So, James, tell us on a scale of 1 to 5, what your rating is and why is it a 1? You are completely making no sound. Utter silence. I will speak to the audience. I will now say words whilst James attempts to repair his audio issue.
I'm probably going to sound worse than I did before, but can you at least hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. It is not a 1. It is a 0.
Okay.
It's a, yeah, I mean, and ironically, some of them, the issues you brought up were the issues I had. My biggest issues with it were the writing.
Yeah.
The writing and Renner, and again, I don't think it was Renner's fault. I think Renner was given a script and a direction, and he went with it because, like, he was in around the same. Well, no, it was a couple of years later. He was in an episode of House, and he was phenomenal in that episode of House. He was in he's in the Hurt Locker, and Hurt Locker, he was phenomenal in that. He was in The Town. He's great in The Town. The Bourne Legacy, he was good in. The MCU movies, even though the character is Hawkeye and he didn't have a lot to do, I enjoyed him in that. He was good in the Hawkeye series. What else is he? Wind River. Mayor of Kingstown. I don't know if you've watched that. Like, that's really good. He's great in that. So I don't think it was him. I feel like he was given a script and a direction, and he went with it. And unfortunately, it did not bode well for him. So yeah, but it's a 1. If there was any redeeming quality of it, I would say it would have been the final scene with Angel and Cordelia. Just because I think it continues to show Cordelia's growth as a person.
Wait, so is it a 0 or a 1?
It's a 0.
Oh, okay, because you said yeah, so it's a 1.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's 0.
It is a 0, and
I can't give it a 0 because of the pack. And what was that episode of Angel 3 or 4 episodes ago that was just like the worst goddamn thing that's ever. Where you were like, you know what? I just don't care about this.
fuck, I don't even remember the name of it. But it was the one where they all got whammied with their feelings and everything. I don't remember the name of it.
That's the only reason I don't give it a 0, because it wasn't in that category. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, for me, it was. Yeah, it was just. Yeah, I just. Especially because honestly, like the premise, like it seems like a really good premise. Like they could have done so much with this idea.
A protege from his past coming back.
Right. Or honestly, even just the idea of like the title of the episode itself.
Yeah, it could have been like, oh my God, something is controlling him in his sleep and making him go out and do these murders. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And then have him, not that Angel needs to be any more darker brooding than he already is, but then, have him
through that. Yeah, the fact that
have him
killings.
Exactly, have him deal with that for the rest of the season or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even aside from that, yeah, the whole protege of Angel idea, like there's so much potential in both of those options, and they didn't go with either one of them, or they didn't live up to the one that they did choose. So
it was just poor, lazy writing.
Yeah. All of my issues lie in the writing of the episode. There's, like I said, there's only one redeeming thing in the episode, and it was, in my opinion, that final scene with Cordy and Angel. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough to, grip it and raise it from perdition.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was definitely not a must-see, and it was definitely skippable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really all there is to that. James, why don't you tell our fine audience how they can connect with us?
Well, they can. Do I sound better again now?
You do.
Okay, good.
What happened?
They can go to Buff. I don't know. My regular microphone just for some reason stopped working. I don't know why, but now it's working again. So, thankfully though, I have figured out a quick switch option for between the good microphone and a not quite as good option. But for exactly instances like this. But BuffyRevisited.com. You're going to find links to everything: the Facebook, the YouTube, the merch store, our email address. Email address is BuffyRevisited@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. Give us your thoughts, comments, opinions about the episode, or anything Angel related, the podcast, anything. Hit up the merch store, buy some merch. It's quality merch. I've bought some. Jeremy's bought some. Listeners have bought some. Our friends of the show, S-Dub and Darlene, aka Silver Siren, have bought merch. They're happy with it. Hit up the YouTube. You're going to find all of our episodes up to this point. Hop in the comment section. Leave us your comments, thoughts, opinions about the episodes. Same thing over on the Facebook. You're going to find posts about all of our episodes up to this point. Hop in the comments, leave us your thoughts, opinions, whatnot. And there's also other things on the Facebook. I'm getting ready to post a couple different articles now. There's some stuff that when we come back from hiatus, the first couple episodes, I plan on picking your brain about Jeremy or discussing about you. Kind of wanted to do it these last two episodes, but honestly, it slipped my mind until just right now. So we'll save it for when we come back from the hiatus and dedicate a few minutes of the first couple episodes to talking about those things. But anyway, that's all I have.
Alrighty then. Just a reminder once again, there will be no episode next week or the week after. That would be February 5th or February 12th. We are now we're on our mid-season hiatus. So we will return February 19th with an all-new episode, which will be Buffy, Season 4, Episode 12, A New Man.
Yes. And barring any unforeseen circumstances, we shouldn't have any lapses in putting out the episodes for the next we've got 11 of each left in the back half there, so 22 weeks. So 22 new episodes, and barring, I know the beginning half of this season we had a lot of
chaotic.
Yeah, it was chaotic. A lot of stop gaps leading up to the mid-season hiatus here, but hopefully the next 22 will go much smoother, and we won't have any of those issues. So thank you everyone for sticking through it with us up till this point, and we hope you're going to continue with us through the rest of it.
Absolutely. We do want to thank you all for joining us, and join us again in a couple of weeks after our hiatus, and we will be back to Buffy and knocking out these last 11 episodes of each show. So, with all that being said, I have been one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your other host, James.
Ta-ta.